amici ragazzi, bentornati su The Stanley Portable. Quindi eravamo rimasti che mi ha piazzato sta linea al centro, come dire, stavolta non ti puoi sbagliare.
Alright, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Ok. Ma sì dai, seguiamo la linea, facciamo come dice lui, tanto o la seguo, non la seguo, va a finire sempre che mi fa ricominciare da capo lo stesso.
See? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction.
Oh, il destino mi attende.
Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving
Cammino sui
forward,
muri.
are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that.
What the
You know
fuck?
what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Aia, porca miseria. Vaffanculo, 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 Porca stacca sta musica, pezzo di merda, mi spacchi le orecchie. Vaffanculo, che roba. Voglio finire. Ok raga, mi sta spaccando
Cut the
le
music.
orecchie.
Go back and look at that fern.
Che?
Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You
Okay.
won't want to miss anything.
Ok ragazzi, quindi il tizio dice, vedete sta pianta, è importante che ce la ricordiamo, ok, segnatevi tutti i particolari. Io ho fatto una foto, vai. Ho fatto una foto, penso che non me la posso più dimenticare,
Wait,
vaffanculo.
what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Minchia. Oh, mi sta a far perdere, no, un'altra volta. Qua non ci vado, vaffanculo. Lo so, se vado lì mi dice tutto da capo. No. Piuttosto stavolta me ne vado di qua. What? Ok. Ah ok, qui è dove ero andato prima. Ah, quindi volere o non volere, io dovere andare là. Che poi è dietro l'angolo. Va bene.
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you...
Ricomincia.
This anymore, to hell with it. Restart.
Oh, restart. Stavolta la linea ci fotterà o non ci fotterà? Questo è il mistero.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Va bene, andiamo di qua come dici tu. Quindi
Now,
no?
yes,
Sì.
this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it.
What the fuck? Oh! What the fuck? Ma che cazzo? O sto diventando scemo? O sto diventando scemo, sono scemo, non ci sto a capire più un cazzo. Porca vacca raga.
Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge
What the
it.
fuck?
You should be fine.
Seguo la linea, vado sui tetti. No. Boh. Che cazzo? Dove sono adesso?
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity.
Sì.
In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here.
Quindi giro
And
per
that in
riflettere.
turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
What the fuck? Vai andare qua.
Oh, hold up, what's this?
Ok.
The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times?
8 volte?
That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing. Wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this.
Non lo farai tu, non lo farai, non
I
ricominciamo da
won't
capo,
do
no.
it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen?
Ok,
So-
quindi
Okay.
aspettiamo. Che dici?
I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination
Hai ragione.
or the journey. Though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now.
Giusto.
We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if
Aia, vaffanculo. M'ha spaccato le orecchie. Ah, narratore, tutto da capo.
all of his co-workers were gone, what could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
E vai, tutto da capo. E questo qua si è dimenticato la storia. E vai. O forse sì o forse no. No, ci siamo.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ok, andiamo a sinistra perché a destra non mi dice niente di che. Quindi ok. Ci siamo.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Signor boss, signor boss. 20 com'era? 24. Cazzo era il
Stepping
codice?
into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings,
Spacco tutto!
desperate for
Dov'è la
clues to his
spiegazione?
situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. and so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Ce ne siamo, raga, tutto da capo e non si è capito ancora un cazzo. Oh madonna. Per dire che dicevano che era un gioco corto. Qua c'è il coso
Stanley walked straight
mentale.
ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Pa!
The lights
Ecco gli
rose on an
schermi.
enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Telecamere.
Monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ma va a cagare, dai.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Fatemi uscire da sto postaccio.
No. He refused to believe it.
Sì,
he
mi
couldn't
rifiuto.
accept it.
Questa è la seconda
His own
volta, però.
life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible?
Cosa è
Had he
successo?
truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Oh
But here was the
yeah.
proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking,
Allora, raga,
eating,
stavolta
working, all of it
clicco su
monitored
off,
and
vediamo
commanded
che
from this
succede.
very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he...
Avanti, off. E ricomincia tutto da capo, vediamo, dai. Oppure... Che minchia
blackness,
è?
and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
Ma quando mai?
Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine. Unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
Certo.
Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking.
Fatemi
but
uscire da sto
happiness.
postaccio.
Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his.
E
That
vai.
was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
E qua mi fotte. Ora mette il piede fuori e mi fotte.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him.
Sono
This was
libero.
exactly the way,
Finalmente,
right
dopo
now,
anni e anni
that
di
things were
lavoro.
meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Questo che è un finale? Oppure mi ha solo preso per il culo un'altra volta? Oppure? Non era un finale, dai, dimmelo. Siamo di nuovo qua, e vai! Dimmi che non
All
era
of
il
his
finale.
co-workers were gone.
What
could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ok, m'ha fregato oppure cosa? Boh, non ci ho capito un cazzo.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Allora, siamo di
The
nuovo
lounge
qua.
was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, vado dritto.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Senza sia molto potente adesso. Che pezzo di merda!
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
La pianta, vero? La pianta, mi aveva detto l'altra volta dalla pianta. Cominciano a spuntare le piante, effettivamente.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Sì, sì, esatto, l'altra pianta è là.
Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time understood true happiness. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Vaffanculo.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
No,
But
questo
Stanley
no,
just
lo
couldn't do
odio.
it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours.
No,
he might be fired
pessima
for
scelta.
that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream.
Ok, non c'è via d'uscita di qua, ragazzi. Porca miseria. Mi ha fregato.
His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
Esatto, no, non devo girare, non giro, rimango qua e
I have to
vaffanculo.
go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared.
Yeah.
It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything?
Ok, basta. Niente, tanto lo sappiamo che poi mi fa